All right, part 2 of Photograms. I've just exposed this paper to the light with all these objects on it. So I remove all my objects and I bring my paper over to the darkroom. The first tray is developer, talked about in another video. And I'm going to slide the paper under the surface of the developer, push it down with the tongs. I've got a timer going, and I'm going to rock the tray back and forth to keep this chemistry circulating. And what you'll notice is that anywhere that an object came in contact with the paper, that object is going to stay white because it was blocking the light. Other areas of my paper, though, that get a little bit foggier and gray is actually a cast shadow where the light is wrapping around an object. This is a real trial and error process to make a photogram. They're one of a kind because I can't replicate this without moving things around. And so sometimes you really have to make more than one in order to figure out what combination of lighting and objects really works. Depending on how big the enlarger lens is open, that changes your exposure time, and depending on how high up the enlarger is, that changes the exposure time as well. Before I move my print into the next tray, I'm going to hold it up in the air and let it drip a little bit. That removes excess chemistry from the paper so that it doesn't contaminate too much into the next tray. I bring my print over to the next tray and I set the print down without touching the tongs to the tray. If you remember from talking about film developing, this is developer and this is stop bath, and stop bath stops developer from working. If I accidentally touch the tongs to the developer and I move the tongs back to, if I touch the tongs in the stop bath and accidentally move back to the developer, I bring that chemical backwards in the process, and that can eventually render the developer less effective. Stop bath process is, stop bath tray is 10 seconds worth of time, which is we've already eclipsed. I do the same thing and let this drip like this. And then I'm going to put the paper in the fixer. While the paper sits in the fixer, I'll talk a little bit about it. The fixer is, at this stage, removing the excess silver from this paper. There are parts of the image, and this happens when you develop film as well, that don't get affected by the light and they don't change color. The developer doesn't turn those areas of the paper or the film dark. What that means is, in areas like this paintbrush, that there's still silver on here that is light sensitive, that if we left it in the paper, on the paper, that the paper would have still continue to be affected by light once it comes out of the darkroom, and it would change color. Your film can do the same thing if you don't fix your image properly. So what the fixer does is it absorbs the excess silver and allows us to move our print out into the regular light because it's no longer light sensitive. What that means is that paper fixer and film fixer are both absorbing silver from the paper and film. And what that does is it eventually exhausts the fixer so that you can't fix your paper anymore with a certain tray of fixer, and you have to get rid of it and replace it. To do that, you have to test the fixer, and I will talk about testing fixer and disposing of it and replacing it in another video. After 2 minutes of fixing is up, I'm going to take my print and I'm going to place it horizontally into the print washer. I'll turn on the print washer like I did before. And I'm gonna let that go for 10 minutes, and then I can pull my clean print out and put it in the print dryer, which, like I said before, will come in a separate video.